body, what is happening in our body, and that too not incomplete. But Krishna knows what is happening in our. We can know how to eat, what we are thinking, but we don't know how the thinking happens and how the eating happens, and we don't know what is happening in other person's body. But Krishna knows what is happening in. But he's got unlimited knowledge. Tat 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 kshetram yaccha yadrikcha yadvikari yat yata sacha yo yat prabhavascha tat samasena me shinu. Now, please hear my brief description of this field of activity and how it is constituted, what its changes are, and when it is produced, who that knower of field is, and what his influences are. Many, many saints in past tried to know this, and they know this through Guru Shishya Parampara, Parasha Rishi, etc., etc. Rishi Pir Bahuda Gitam Chando Bir Virde Prita Brahma Sutra Padeshchaiva Hetu Madbir Vinishchite. It is coming from Guru Shishya Parampara. In the fourth chapter, we talked about a parampara, that is Raja Rishi. This is from Guru Rishi Parampara. Raj Rishi Parampara can come to an end, but Guru Rishi Parampara, Guru Shishya Parampara, as long as even a single non-devotee is there, single soul is there, who is not become Krishna conscious, this Guru Shishya Parampara will continue. Mahabhutani ahankaro buddhir avyaktam evacha indriyani dasai kam cha pancha indriya gochara ichha dvesha sukham dukkham sange ta chetana dhriti etat kshetram samasena savikaram udaritam. This this soul is imprisoned by 20 elements, 24 elements, that are five great elements: earth, water, fire, air, ether, false ego, ahankar, buddhi, intelligence, the unmanifested, the ten senses, the unmanifested three modes of material nature, the ten senses, five knowledge gaining senses, which are eyes, ears, nose, tongue, skin, eyes, ears, nose, tongue, skin. And the five working senses are hands, legs, mouth, and uh, anus and rectum. Mind, five senses of objects, and desire, hatred, happiness, distress, aggregate lifetime. These are 24 elements which bind the soul. But the soul which is entangled in the cage of 24 elements will be released by 20 elements of knowledge. So what are the 20 elements will be mentioned here. They are humility, pridelessness, non-violence, tolerance, so on and on. Amanvita, madamvitam, ahimsa, shantir, arjavam, acharya, upasanam, Socham strayam atma vinigraha. Humility, pridelessness, non-violence, tolerance, simplicity, approaching a bona fide spiritual master, cleanliness, steadfastness, self-control. These out of the 20, almost 8 are mentioned here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 are mentioned in this. Amanvitam means humble. To understand Krishna is great and we are not great. Pridelessness is understand that even if we are doing many things, it may look it is big, but we should understand it is happening because of Krishna's mercy. Non-violence means to give the message of the Lord is real violence, and not spreading the message of the Lord leads to violence because the message of the Lord has not gone to all. So everyone is thinking, "I'm body, you are body," and we fight. When the message goes, we will think we are children of God, and there will be no fight. Tolerance is important. Tolerance means at to 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 not get disturbed and continue our service in spite of unfavorable condition. Simplicity means to do what we speak and speak what to do. Simplicity. Walk our talk. Of all the 20 elements, approaching the spiritual master is the most important. And for us, approaching the Acharya Upasana is important. The more we go closer to Prabhupada, or more we try to please Prabhupada, our life will be successful. We will be coming close to the knowledge. Like the hippies, they serve Prabhupada, and by the mercy, the hippies become happy. The Rusis, they serve Prabhupada, they become rishis. The Chinis serve Prabhupada, they become muni. The Japanese started japa as told by Prabhupada, and they become also devotees. From unhappiness, one becomes happy. So let us also take this opportunity in this lifetime to come close to Srila Prabhupada. Cleanliness of body and mind is important, and cleanliness of surrounding. Steadiness, that means we should be one-pointed focused in advancing in Krishna consciousness. Self-control means not to get deviated by agitations. So in this way, Indriyateshu vairagam अनहंकार एव च जन्म मृत्यु जरा व्याधि दुख दोष अनुदर्शनम. Four more elements are added here. Indriya Arteshu Vairagyam, that we should be Indriya Arteshu, sense gratification. We should try to avoid sense gratification. Indriya Arteshu Vairagyam. And Indriya Arteshu Vairagyam, our attraction should be to gratify Krishna. And ahankar eva cha. Ahankar means I am doing. But we should understand if we are studying, it is the mode of goodness which is making us study. If we are making money, it's mode of passion which is making. If we are breaking something, then it is actually mode of ignorance. And these modes are working under God, Krishna. So we should understand is actually done by Krishna. We cannot do anything without Krishna's sanction. Speaking, talking, breathing becomes difficult. Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi, Dukkha, Dosha, Darshanam, birth, death, old age, disease. Nobody wants disease. Nobody wants old age. Nobody wants to die. It's very painful. And this is what the reality of this world. Everything is so superficially looks beautiful. So we should not get into illusion. Understand that the will lead to painful situation. So we should see this world from the eyes of scripture. See everything connected to Krishna and apply uh, and and then then we apply it to be connected to Krishna. Asakti, asakti. So 9 plus 3, 12. Asakti anabhiswanga putradara griha adishu. आसक्ति अनाभिस्वांग पुत्रदारा गृह आदिषु नित्यं च समाचित्तत्वम् इष्टानिष्टोपापतेषु. After understanding asakti, freedom from entanglement from children, wife, home, and rest. We should understand the home Krishna has given should be used in Krishna service. Children, wife, etc. is sent by Krishna that together we practice Krishna consciousness and help each other to advance. And always be maintain the equilibrium, unpleasant or pleasant. We should be tolerate and maintain, maintain, maintain our steadiness. Home, rest, even when unpleasant, and have unalloyed devotion unto Krishna. Ishta Anupistam. This is very important. Acharya Upasanam and unalloyed devotion to Krishna. So in this way, further, Mai cha ananya yogena bhaktir avyabhicharini vivikti desha sevitvam aratir jnana samsadi आध्यात्म ज्ञान नित्यत्वम तव ज्ञान अर्थ दर्शनम एतज्ज्ञामिति प्रोक्तम अज्ञानम यद अतो अन्यथा. Aspiring to live in the solitary place, that means we be where devotees are there, not to go to a place where non-devotees are there. Favorable environment. Detachment from general mass who are just talking about food, clothing, and shelter. We will go to a place where people are talking about Krishna, um, Sri Radhika Madhayorapara Madhurya Leela Gunarupanamnam Pratishan Aswadana Lalupasya Vande Guru Sri Charanarvindam. Those who are going for spiritual search, we go for such association. These 20 elements Krishna declares as knowledge, and apart from that, everything is ignorance. Then Krishna will be talking about what is the object of knowledge. The 20 elements of knowledge is mentioned, but what is the object of knowledge? And the object of knowledge is soul, super soul, and uh, uh, Kshetriya Prakriti Purusha is also soul, super soul. Jnanam yattad pravikshyami. यज्ञात्वामृतं श्रुते अनादिमत् परं ब्रह्मन् सतना सच्च उच्यते. I shall now explain the knowable, that is soul and super soul, by knowing which the taste of eternality we develop. The spirit, the soul, is beginningless and subordinate to Krishna. Krishna, we are soul and Krishna is super soul. The soul, super soul, was before the material world in Mahavishnu's body and is in the material world, and even the annihilation of the material world. Again, the soul will be in Mahavishnu's body. So it is beyond the cause and effect of material world. As far as the super soul, Shirodaksha Vishnu is everywhere. Sarvata Panipadam Tat Sarvato Akshi Shiromukam Sarvatra Shruti Malloke Sarvana Vidya Tishtati. The object of knowledge is soul, and the object of knowledge is super soul. And Shirodaksha Vishnu is in every living entity in the as super soul in the region of the heart, and every atom also. Everywhere his hands and legs are there, eyes are there, heads are there, face is there. His eyes, ears are everywhere. In this way, super soul exists and is pervading everything. This is a very important thing. Whatever we are thinking, whatever we're doing, whatever we're speaking is all noted by the super soul because he's everywhere. Sarvendriya gunabhasham Sarvendriya vivarjitam Asaktam sarvabhikchaiva nirgunan guna bhoktirucha. The super soul is everywhere. The hands and legs are everywhere. That super soul is the origin of all senses. But he has no senses. That means he has no material senses. Krishna has got spiritual eyes, spiritual ears, spiritual hands and legs. He has everything in unlimited quantity with high spiritual quality. He does not want anything from us. He's unattached. He's unattached still. He's maintaining all of us. He's the control of the three modes of material nature and he's beyond the material nature. So in this way, we find that the we find that in the 13th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, we see how Krishna is explaining. Wait a minute, Hare Krishna. Mm, mm, mm. Yeah, Kshetragya. Mm, mm. Yeah, here we are. Yeah, wonderful. Yeah, he does not have senses. He is inside and outside. Bahiranta cha bhutanam acharam acharam charam eva cha sukshmatva tad avichneyam durastam chantika cha. So contrary qualities find shelter only in Krishna. We may be outside, but we cannot be inside. We are inside if we cannot be outside, but Krishna can be outside and inside as super soul and in other article. So other in the atoms as Shirodaksha Vishnu. The supreme truth is outside, inside all the living entities, moving, non-moving, and he is subtle and beyond the power of we cannot see with his eyes, telescope, selfie, or mirror, or X-ray, MRI, or CT scan. Although he is far in Golok Vrindavan, still he is the closest in the closest as super soul in the region of the heart. That's why in Bible it said that love the neighbor. So when we say love the neighbor, it means that we should love the super soul, not the other way. अविभक्तं च भूतेषु विभक्तं च एव च स्थितं भूतावृच्च तज्ज्ञानं ग्रासिष्णु प्रभविष्णु च ग्रासिष्णु प्रभविष्णु च. So, mm, although the super soul appears to be divided among all the beings, is never divided. He is situated as one. Although he is the maintainer of every living entity, it is to be understood that he devotes and develops all. Like the sun is up. If we are in Bombay, we say sun is above my head. But somebody in Paris say, no, sun is above my head. But it does not mean that different sun are there. The same sun and people from different places look up and they say the sun is above. Similarly, the super soul, Shirodaksha Vishnu, is one, but he expands and goes in uh, uh, everybody's heart. So in this way, the the super soul, the super soul is super soul is everywhere. Like Vishnu Pitama gives a very good example. There are many pots, hundreds of pots, and the sun is up. So then we look into the pot, we'll see in every pot there is sun. It doesn't mean that sun is divided and going there. It's a reflection of the. Similarly, Sirodaksha Vishnu is one, and his expansion comes as super soul. He's not divided. How the effulgence coming from Shirodaksha Vishnu is being mentioned. ज्योतिषामपि तज्ज्योति तमसा परमुच्यते ज्ञानगेयं ज्ञानगम्यं हृदि सर्वस्वविष्टिताम्. The source of light is the source of light. He is beyond the darkness of matter and is unmanifested. He is knowledge and object of knowledge. So, super soul is object of knowledge, his goal of knowledge, and is situated in everybody's heart. Iti kshetram tat jnanam jnan ज्ञायं चोक्तः समस्त सता मद्भक्ता एतद्विनिच विज्ञाय मद्भावयोपापद्यते. Thus, the field of activity, body, and knowledge, knowable, have been described, and the devotees can understand this thoroughly and thus become as happy as Krishna is. So Krishna speaks so much, but Krishna is yet to answer question number one and two. So the question number one and two will be answered from now. And it's amazing, very beautiful, and simply awful and wonderful. Prakritim Purusham Chaiva Vidhi Anadi Uba Api karam cha gunan chaiva vidhi prakriti sambhavan. The material nature, the three modes of material nature, material energy, prakriti, and the living entity who is trying to enjoy the material world is called Purusha. Purusha means the enjoyer, and the super soul is the enjoyer. So they are supposed to be beginningless. Material nature, we see the history, it was always there. So it has got, it is kind of beginningless. The transformation and the modes of the matters are the products of material nature. Karya karan kartitve hetu prakritiruchyate purusha sukha dukkhanam bhoktritve hetur uchyate. The nature is said to be the cause of material causes and effects, whereas the living entity is the cause of various suffering and enjoyment in this world. So पुरुष प्रकृति स्तो ही भुंक्ते प्रकृति जन गुणान कारणम गुण संगस्य सरसद्योनि जन्मसु. The living entity, as he desires, he gets another body, future in future, the next body. So in that body again he has some desire to fulfill. He gets another body. So purusha prakriti so he, the soul is trying to l- enjoy the material world. And Prabhupada says there are 84 lakh types of ways the the soul can think to enjoy this world, and that's why being kind, Krishna is having 84 kinds of species. This is due to the association with the material world. Thus, he meets the good and the evil in among all the species. Upadrishta, whereas the super soul, what is happening to him? He's just witnessing why he's going to the evil and why is he going to the uh, good. Upadrishta Hanumantascha Bharta Bhokta Maheshwara Paramatmeti Chapikto Dehi Asmin Purusha Para. There is another super living entity, transcendental enjoyer. He is the Lord and the supreme proprietor who exists as overseer, permitter, and is known as super soul. एवं या एयं वेत्ति पुरुषं प्रकृति च गुणे सह सर्वथा वर्तमानोऽपि न सावयो अभिजायते. One who knows this philosophy that super soul is always with the soul to help him, and about the material world, how it is binding the living entity. The living entity interaction of the modes is sure to attain liberation, and you not take birth again and again in this material world. Dhyana enatmani pashyanti kaschid atmana atmana अन्ये सांख्येन योगेन कर्मयोगेन च परे. The super soul can be perceived by meditation, by knowledge, and some others are doing pious activities, and by blessings they are able to do attain this perception of the super soul. Rest others anyata eam ajanatah श्रुता अन्यभ्य उपासते ते अपि चाति चाति तरन्ति वैव मृत्युम सृष्टि परायणा. Again, there are those who adopt the simple method of Tadvidi Pranipatena, go to the spiritual master and listen, take instruction from the spiritual master. They go to the spiritual master and devotees and in a submissive mood render service and get knowledge from them. And thus they are transcendental to path of birth and death and old age. यावत् संजायते किंचित सत्वं स्थावर जंगम क्षेत्र क्षेत्रज्ञ संयोगा तद्विधि भरतर्षभ. The chief of Bharata, know that whatever you see in the existence, both the moving and the non-moving, is only combination of fields of activities and knower of the field. That means field of activity is the body, and the knower of the body is the soul and the super soul. Everywhere, whether it's aquatic, whether it's plants, whether it's birds, whether it's reptiles, whether it's animals or human beings. Samam sarveshu bhuteshu tishtantam parmeshwaram vinashyatsav avinashantam ya pashyati sa pashyati. And one who can see the soul, super soul, accompanying, soul is in the body and accompanied with the super soul, and who understands that neither the soul nor the super soul within the destructive body can be destroyed, actually sees. So when he sees a mosquito ant, he sees that in that body, it's a small helicopter made by God, and it has got soul and super soul. Okay. Samam Pashyan. The word Pashyati comes in 13th chapter, 14th chapter, 15th chapter, 16th chapter, 17th chapter, and 18th chapter. Krishna is saying, see, but see the unseen. In this chapter, see inside the body. Next chapter, see outside the body. Samam Pashyani Sarvatra Samavastitam Ishwaram Nahinasti Atmana Atmanam Tatoyati Paramgatim. He who sees super soul equally present everywhere in every living being does not degrade himself by his mind. Thus he approaches the transcendental destination. प्रकृत या एव च कर्माणि क्रियमाणानि सर्वश य पश्यति ततात्मना कर्तरां स पश्यति. So one who can see this, that everything performed by the body, which is created by the material nature, sees that the soul does nothing, actually sees. Everything is done by the body, mind, and the soul is doing nothing. Yada bhuta pritak bhavan ekastam anupashyati tata eva cha vistaram brahma sampadyate tada. So one has to see this as taught by the spiritual master. Anaditvan nirgunatvat paramam atmayam anyaya shariram sto hi api paunteya na karoti na lipyate. Thus, a devotee who has the vision of eternity can see the imperishable soul, understand the soul is transcendental to is transcendental, eternal, and beyond three modes of material nature. Despite the contact of material nature, Arjuna, the soul does nothing nor get entangled. So in this way, a person with knowledge will not get entangled. Yata sarvagatam shuksh ya akasham nopali yate sarvatra vastito dehe tadata atma nopalipyate. The sky is everywhere, but it does not mix like water is there, a drop of water, oil is there. Even though the drop of oil is surrounded by water, but oil does not mix with the water, doesn't mix with the oil drop. Similar, soul is there in the material world, but it does not mix with the body or material world. Yata prakashyati eka krishnam lokam yam ravi etam kshatri tata krishnam prakashati bharata. O son of Bharata, the sun alone illuminates all the universe. So does the soul is in the region of the heart and uh, spreads the consciousness all over the body. Kshetra kshetrajya evam anantaram jnana chakshusha bhuta prakriti moksham cha ye viduryanti te param. And those who are the devotees can see with the eyes of knowledge the difference between body and the soul, and body and super soul. So in this way, the 13th chapter of Bhagavad Gita is very wonderful and talks about that see the body and go beyond and see the soul and the super soul, how it is, uh, uh, how it is, uh, how it is, how it is, and the prisoner is in the jail, and how by knowledge the one can get unentangled and go back home, back to Godhead. So this is a very important chapter where Krishna emphasizes on seeing the soul and the super soul inside the body. Kshetra, Kshetraga, Prakriti, Purusha, Jnana, Gaya. Answer for three questions is soul, super soul, Prakriti, and body, and object knowledge, elements of knowledge. So total, this chapter tells that the soul is there, but it is imprisoned in the material world, which is made of 24 elements, and 20 elements of knowledge can liberate. Once we have this knowledge, we will understand Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, our ever wisher, and we try to follow the instructions, then the jailer will be pleased and relieve us. Thus, we may be in the jail, but the jailer will remove the uh, we will he will not he will release us from the handcuff, leg cuff, and neck cuff, and we may be freely talking with the jailer, whereas the other prisoners will be punished. And when time comes, 26th January or 15th August, the jailer will give recommendation to the government and say that please release. He has learnt his lesson. Similarly, if we take up Krishna consciousness, Durga Devi will give recommendation, Super Soul will give recommendation that we have learned the lesson, we are rectified, and flight will come from Golok Vrindavan, take us back home, back to Godhead. Hare Krishna. So with this, I uh, come to the conclusion that we have got uh, we are got limited time in this body, and in this limited time, we should understand that the process of Krishna consciousness is going to liberate us, and take it seriously, get liberated, become good devotees, make others devotees, study Prabhupada books, teach Prabhupada books, and please Prabhupada and Gurudev and bring glories to Prabhupada and Gurudev and Vaishnavas, and make our life successful. So, with this, I will bring end to my speech.